I finally we made it, and
Finally.
we've been trying to do different things, trying to put our babies to sleep, trying to ensure that they're deep asleep at a particular time, and it worked actually after much, trouble. And now we're praying that they don't wake up
Amen.
while we're doing this. So let's get to it immediately. I'm so appreciative for joining us here at MamaSpaPodcast. And I believe starting with you is a great thing because you're one of the, how will I say, the best mama that me I know about. And apart from in the sense of motherhood, you've also been, keeping it up in the sense of being your own self personally, like not losing yourself personally, and also still chasing your career, doing your career. And for me, sometimes I'm wondering, how do you do it? Coupling everything, doing the exercise continuously. Like, I have to say that part. Like, I do different things, but not exercise. It's once in a while. But you do yours daily. So I don't know how you do it, but I want to get to know you more. Although I know you, but please just us. So can you start by telling us a bit about yourself? Who
Yeah.
you are, what you do, what your life looks like for you right now as a mom and as a business analyst, and of course, as a Christian. Yeah, how do you juggle everything?
Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me. Finally, we've been
You're
talking
welcome.
about this, and I'm so glad that finally we are able to do this. Yeah, my name is Boluwatife. Some people call me Tife, some people call me Bolu, whichever one is fine. Boluwatife Odukomaiya. I'm married to a very nice guy. Shout out to my husband. He's a
Yeah.
very kind guy. And yeah, I recently became a mom 11 months ago. Sorry, like our babies are almost one. And yeah, career wise, I'm a business analyst. I also mentor, which I've not done since I had a baby because life is lifing. Life
Yeah.
is really lifing. And
It's a lot,
yeah,
right?
I'm a believer. I
Mhm.
believe in God so much because man, it's been God really doing this, like doing motherhood, having life, being a wife. I was telling someone that you never take a pause when you become a mom from being a wife and life generally. Everything just happens, everything just continues going, and you don't have that time to really breathe. And you're like, oh my God, you're thrown into an ocean, a sea, and you have to survive. So, what else about myself? Well, I consider myself an introverted extrovert. Yeah, I like my house so much. I can stay at home all the time. But then I also like meeting people. I enjoy having conversations. Like, I can meet you today and then we can have an entire conversation. I'm such a conversationalist. Like, I enjoy conversations, deep conversation. I love God. I mean, when I gist with my friends, there's no way we end up with Bible and life. Like everything just mixes up. And yeah, basically that's me. How do I do it? I think it's God.
Yeah, we're still going to get back to that. How do you do it? Because for me, I'm just like, anyways, I can resonate like deeply with the fact that you said that it's like a continuous cycle. It's just like you wake up in the morning and that's it. You take care of your child, you take care of things, you take care of the kitchen, you cook, you're doing your business, you're doing your work, you're doing this, you're doing that, and then it's time to sleep. And then the next morning you're in it again. It's just like there's no break, there's no pause, there's no. I think since I used to say the period while I was pregnant was really nice. Although I love mother, but
Yeah,
I could pause. I could
yeah,
decide I'm
yeah,
sleeping this time.
yeah.
I can't even decide like I want to go to toilet. Like it's that bad. I can't decide that I just need to take a shower, a long deep shower, thinking about life. No, I'm just rushing through it and I'm telling the baby, yeah, 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 putting him by
The
the bed.
name of that thing, even when baby is sleeping,
Yeah, the
like you
anxiety
hear the
there.
cry.
Yeah, yeah. Like, is it? I forgot the name.
Yeah, phantom cry.
I love the fact that you gave us a brief introduction to yourself, and you mentioned that you're a working mom. So I want to dig deep into that. As a working mom, how do you describe the invisible weight of, or should I say, the mental load that you carry daily? Like the unseen responsibilities that you do? Like, how do you describe it? Like, because there's that mental load.
Yeah, I'm so glad that there's a lot of conversation about mental load because I never even knew that that was what was happening. And when I started seeing it, I felt sane because it's crazy that every single day, like, it's like I'm on steroids. Like, I'm not so. And now it's worse because we are planning JD's first birthday, and it's
True.
crazy that I was, and he has photo shoot. Another mom invited me. I woke up like in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to send her a message that we might not be able to make it. Oh, have I booked this? Oh, like it's crazy. I
Yeah,
can't
like
even put it to.
your mind is just even on
I
a
can't put it to
continuous
words.
motion. Your
Yeah,
brain is
and
just working out, sure, even at night.
seriously, and the fact that I had to put my son in a strict routine so that I can work
Yeah,
when
get to that part.
on the days that I'm working, these are all part of the mental load because I'm thinking, what time should I wake him up? What time should I wake up?
So we're talking about mental load,
Yeah.
and you were describing to us how sometimes, like you have to think about how do you juggle everything together, especially how your day would go.
Yeah. Yeah, for example, as I work, so I also need to think about the routine of what's the best time for me to wake up because my exercise is like my self-care. That's the only time that I get to like have self-care for me. I'm
That
doing this
personal
for
time for
me,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah. Even though it's always invaded with my but then again, because I feel like I'm doing something for me, so I need to now start planning. Okay, from the night before, I'm already thinking of how my day will go the next day, and okay, what time is my first meeting, my daily stand up. I'm incorporating all of that, and I'm thinking the task I did yesterday, did I complete it? So it adds on. Plus,
So
what
how do you manage that time?
don't know if the word manage is really existence. Well, maybe I would
Because
say how I juggle, maybe manage.
how do you juggle it? Because, for example, how would you put him to? How would you give him the breakfast? Like bathe him, dress him, give him his breakfast, couple it with your meeting, your daily stand-up meeting. Like couple it with your daily stand-up meeting, then couple it with your sleep time, with your most important meetings, so that the sleep time would,
Yeah.
align with
Luckily,
the meeting.
luckily for me, right? I say I'm one of those few people that routine worked for. So I've put him on a strict routine since 4 months. Is when it was 4 months. So I started with night routine of taking him to bed every 8 p.m. And that kind of just cascaded into the day's routine. So once I have a bath for him, I know he's going to sleep. So the period, so if my meeting is by 9, I beat him by 8. So I know that by 8:30 off, like he sleeps off. So I'm able to do my 9 o'clock meeting. And the next time, at least I can boast of 1 hour, 30 minutes of or 2 hours sleep. So my first two daily stand-up is that sleep. When he wakes up, I put breast in his mouth if I'm in a meeting. I put breast in his mouth if I'm in a meeting so that it doesn't disturb. And thank God for mute button. But going back to your first question of how I'm able to juggle his entire routine and all of that. So I wake up by 4 a.m. to do my routine, to do my own devotion, like pray and all of that. And by 6 a.m., I'm downstairs. By that 6, as soon as I stand up from the bed, he like wakes up because he's a contact sleeper. So we are downstairs, latest by 7, making his breakfast, feeding before I go back upstairs, have my bath. And so I try to have my bath before his dad goes to work. Because if his dad goes to work before I have my bath, that might be the end. That means no bath for that day until he sleeps. And I also have work to do. Luckily for me, I'm still doing 3 days a week back to work using so 3 days, 2 days off for the week. So I'm still able to juggle. But when I go back to 5 days working, is where I will have to reinvent myself again. But then we have to go to nursery. Yeah, by the grace of the Lord. But
But
yeah,
that's a lot.
that's the kind of the picture of how my day goes, and then evening cooking and all of that, and
And that's the thing about mothers, or should I say women. They're
yeah,
expected to carry the load of child care, the load of working, and the load
mm,
of also being a wife. And
yeah.
so, what are some of those things you feel people don't see or acknowledge about the responsibilities that we as women juggle, mothers juggle,
I don't think
especially
people,
for you, maybe
yeah.
in
I
general?
mean, there was a time I was really feeling unseen by my husband because I'm so big on word of affirmation, and I was never affirmed. He might be thinking it in the back because when we had a conversation, he said, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it." I'm like, "Tell me. If you don't tell me, I don't know. I'm not a mind reader because it makes me feel sane. Like just acknowledging the fact that, baby, they try, or oh, babe, I see
Thank you.
you, babe, thank you. You get, but I mean, I think society is so programmed to the fact that women are supposed to do it all without even stopping 1 second to say,
How
"Oh,
is she
well
doing
done."
it? Or even how is she doing it?
How is
Just
she
that
doing
wonder.
it? Yeah, because it's a lot of work. There was one day I put on my status that because I wear it, I carry the crown so easily. It doesn't mean it's not heavy. It's really heavy. I'm not in my shoes. And, a lot of people have just been programmed to see, oh, it's a woman's job. And I mean, luckily for me, I have a husband that helps out. There are times that he's like, "Oh, don't do the dishes, I'll do it," and all of that. That helps. But there are times that I still want him to do more. Like sometimes just take this boy away. You guys, both of you go on walks, and let me just have some minutes to myself so that I can breathe. We are boy moms, and boys are very clingy.
And
Very
clingy.
clingy. Aside even being active, like you're overstimulated in the day because as much as my son plays by himself, as soon as he sees me on the computer, it feels like I'm not giving him attention. So he starts to cry. He wants me to carry him. He wants
You
me
know
to,
what? Do you know what my son does sometimes? Sorry to cut you short.
yeah,
My son comes beside me and then, oh, this is an example of what he does. So this is an example. One of it is like, why is she talking to this woman, smiling and not
yeah,
looking at me? Another example is he comes to the laptop and he just shuts it down. He just closes it and then he looks at me like smiles and is like, this now it's not him like that. That's what it just means. He just shuts it down. Sometimes he pushes the phone away, like fully away,
yeah,
like look at me. So
yeah,
today I was with him in the kitchen and we were actually cooking, but I remembered I needed to do something and send some things to you. And I was doing that. And he got pissed off because he knew we wanted to do something, we wanted to do pancakes. And at that period, what he just did was more like he pushed the phone aside to make me understand like
yeah,
I've been distracted and I
yeah,
need to focus on him.
yeah.
So I can relate with you when you talk about the fact that they can be so clingy. And right now, I don't even know what he's doing right now.
Completely understand, to be honest. And
You.
my son does the same. And he's been doing it since when he was a baby. Like he pushes my phone out of my hands. He will, he will just fling my phone out of my hands. Like this is time for me. He still did it this morning. I think I was pressing my phone and then he pushed my phone out of my hands and we're like, me? What about me?
He would point to himself like,
Well,
right
it's
here,
not, to be fair, it's a really good thing because like they want us to pay attention. Like we should actually pay attention to them. But man, in reality, life is happening. Life is life in us, man.
And does your son do the opposite to his father? For me, like he's very clingy with me, but when he's with his dad, it's more like he's trying to show that he can be independent or something like that. His dad is in the room doing whatever he needs to do for more than 1 or 2 hours, and I'm watching them with the camera, and I'm like, why is this boy not going to his dad? It will be playing so independent. I wish, like right now, as we're doing the podcast, if it were to be his father,
Yeah.
it would leave his father at a point and go play
Mm.
be playing while his father is doing this. But for me, it's like, what's she doing? She's looking. Okay, what's she looking at? I'm very sure he wants to talk into this mic too. So yeah, I think there's a different nature of how they
Yeah.
help
Each parent.
with each parent. And I believe, just like you said, no matter how the partner steps in, it still doesn't feel that way. Like maybe they get everything because the child wants to be with you 24/7.
Yeah.
And you also need that period where even if it's for 1 hour, you just feel like, and you're away from the child. Sometimes I feel like maybe we mothers, we need to incorporate weekends that you just go out and leave the baby with especially when you have a setting like your husband is also working full time, you're working also, and maybe they don't spend so much time with the child. Let them do the bonding. It's not a bad thing. You
Yeah.
look for somewhere to go, like leave the house, because sometimes when you're still in the house, you tend to still want to take up that nurturing,
Yeah.
what's it called, role. So
Yeah.
just leave the house, vacate, and go and have an headspace, personal headspace of yours. Like, so I don't know. That's
I
a
seriously
suggestion.
do agree with that. I mean, we're having my connect group in church, more like it's a house fellowship, but we do it online. We're having that conversation of the Proverb 31 woman, and there were conversation of, can this be one woman? And I'm like, when I was reading that scripture again on Tuesday, I realized that that woman had maid, she had help, and she was good with delegation.
She had mates, not just one, not just two, not just three. Like she had mates.
Exactly. So that's one part that is so silent when people talk about that scripture.
And something popped up in my mind now. Sorry. The thing is, she had mates, and people do not want, like, people see like that every Christian woman should be a Proverbs 30 woman, but they do not see that, okay, I was her husband, for example, I was their financial state, for example.
Yeah,
How were they assigning and delegating things, just like you
yeah,
mentioned? Like, she
yeah,
wasn't doing everything, although
yeah,
she was doing most things and
yeah,
lots of different things, but she
yeah,
wasn't doing everything. She had
yeah,
mates to help her.
yeah.
How many women have mates now?
Especially in this abroad.
In this abroad, and yet they expect you to still do the Proverbs 31 thing, huh?
Yeah. So what it just popped at me in that scripture was the fact that she was good with delegation. And one of the things that happens to we moms is the fact that we are not able to let go. We are not able to
Yeah.
delegate. We are so hell bent on, oh, it has to be
Let me
me.
do it myself, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've
We
just
don't want to
been
be
really,
vulnerable again to ask
I've
for
just,
help, I think.
I've just been really reflecting on, because over the week, past week, we had visitors, and there was the offer to help bathe my son, and I found it difficult to be like, allow that to happen. Like, I just realized, and you don't know that these things are there, and you are not able to let go. I was saying that my husband does the night routine with my son, like not the full one, but just to have a bath for him. I don't bother going to the bathroom, because if I go to that bathroom, I'm going to see something that is not him. So I just move. I mean, I'm completely downstairs while they are upstairs and doing their thing. However, they bathe for each other. It's fine. It is son. I get this 5-10 minutes of them bathing and dressing up and everything to myself. Yeah, I can breathe. So I mean, it's not easy. It's just how we are wired. And I think it's been there from time that we don't even know that these things are actually there. Like, it's so difficult for us to delegate. It's so especially when it comes to our children.
Yeah.
When it comes to our children,
I
oh
think
my
it's
God.
also the fact that there's a part of us that just has that, they may not do it as we would do it, but they may
Exactly.
not know how we would do it. And sometimes
Exactly.
explaining your routine to somebody else sometimes can be quite,
It's
difficult.
difficult, to be
Because
honest.
some people don't want to have that patience to even listen to you that this is how I do it.
Exactly.
But there are reason why you do the things you do the way you do them.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
another part that you mentioned, which is good, is dedication and being vulnerable. So, ask for help when
Yeah.
you feel overwhelmed. Talking about being overwhelmed, there been okay, has there ever been moments where you felt like completely overwhelmed,
Oh
but
my
you just had
goodness.
to keep going anyway? Like,
Oh
would
my
you like
goodness.
to share?
There are
Would you like to
several,
share?
like, there are many times that I've cried. And many times I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And yeah, I mean, it happens, like I say, every day is not the same, to be honest. There are days that I wake up and my entire body is broken. There was a day, I think I put it on my status, and I think you saw it. That morning, I woke up, I walked out, I had a bath for my son, I fed him, I folded laundry, and yet I felt like I did nothing, and I was just tired, and I started to cry. I mean, I was trying to put my son to sleep, and as I was singing the song to him, the song had tired, and the tire just triggered me, and then I started to cry, and I was backing him and bouncing, and I was crying. My baby's very tired, and I was crying like I was tired. I was exhausted. Literally, I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. I was overstimulated. Everything together, but I still had to be there for my son. I still had to put him to bed. I still had to feed him. So I had to take care of him. I still had to clear the house, clean the house, make the house look good, fold the laundry, put everything away. And it's just, I mean, there are several times. It's just that example that is popping up in my head right now that, man, on days that there are many days that I felt like I don't think I can do this. And I look at him, and this person, this human being is 1000% dependent on me. And his father is not home. What do? I can't leave him. I can't leave him to himself. He has to eat, he has to sleep, he has a routine that I have to follow. And
I think
so
talking about that part is just the challenges we face today is different from the challenges, for example, our parents faced or
yeah,
people faced in the past.
yeah,
Like, for example, we have the, how will I say, the economic, like the economic challenge where it's more like both parents have to work, or if one parent is working, the job must be really very superb
yeah,
and be able to, paying for everything. Thank God
yeah,
you can work remotely, and that's why you
yeah,
have that job. If it
yeah.
was a job that you had to come in, I'm very sure you would say, "Nah, I'll just stay at
I
home." Because
mean,
if you look at the childcare to everything, so it makes it like very point blank there. Like most times, the woman actually still needs to sacrifice, not even times one, times two. You're sacrificing in like a double triple way, like in the
yeah,
sense of not just saying, "Oh, I would sacrifice my career," but also sacrificing like your mental health sometimes
yeah,
because
yeah,
it can be overwhelming, it can be
yeah,
overbearing. There are times
yeah,
I've actually broken down in tears, not because of I'm sad,
yeah,
but because of I'm just tired, I'm
yeah,
frustrated. I'm
yeah,
like maybe just him crying so much and it's not like you have help. It's not really like there's anybody around that you could just
yeah,
say, take the baby and,
yeah,
just walk away. There was a story I read where um it's a story about someone here in UK, a migrant woman neighbor. She had a baby and then she went to knock on a British neighbor's house and just dropped the baby like she was in tears, dropped the baby with the woman, knocked on the door, dropped the baby with the woman and walked away. And I think she now came back like 1 hour or 2 hours after. She was looking better, she had showered, taking care of herself. And then she came back for her baby. You know, sometimes we do not have that community that
yeah,
can actually help take care of your
yeah,
child. There's
yeah,
nobody to go drop your baby for 2 hours, for example. I wish there was. There are times I wish I would just package him and go deliver him somewhere, then come back when I'm ready. But motherhood is sadly not like that. It's a continuous thing, like just like how you said, where you just need to keep going, even right now. I need to keep going with this podcast. I think my son is doing the clear example of how you just need to keep going.
yeah,
Because if there was someone to drop this boy with right now, I would
yeah.
go package.
Really drop him and
I
then
say
do the
and face
podcast.
this. Yeah, but that's it. No matter the inconvenience, you may feel the inconvenience physically carrying him, and but you just have to keep going. Sorry to say it that way, but it may seem like I'm repeating myself, but it's something that we need to make others even who are listening understand. If they hear, for example, from someone sharing about it, two mothers sharing about it,
Yeah,
maybe other mothers like in the future, they can understand that it's
yeah,
actually a lot for one
yeah,
person to take. Like it's a
yeah,
lot for any like just one person bearing, even if it's a husband bearing it, like if it's the husband that is a
yeah,
stay at home husband,
Yeah.
then the wife should be understanding and be willing to step in, like not just physically but emotionally, in the sense
Yeah.
of
I do.
go unwind, go have spa, for example, once in a month. It's just about seeing that person, about
Yeah.
saying, okay,
Yeah.
come, let me massage you. Like it can be as little as, and sometimes I think sometimes we think it's something very complicated, but it's just a woman just wants to be seen. Like,
Yeah. Just say thank you. I see you. I see
yeah,
all
I
the hard
see you.
work.
Or even, oh, sit down here, let me massage your shoulder. You've been carrying him since, let me massage your shoulder. And it could be just something of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
She get, there's no way
Yeah.
she would not feel better
Yeah.
experiencing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, release.
I completely agree. Yesterday I was trying to make dinner, and then my husband came back early from work, and he was like staying with my son, with our son. So he was holding him, and after a while, the boy started crying, looking for me. He wanted to come and meet me. I mean, he did that for a couple of times. Then his dad was like, "Oh my God, this boy is really clingy." I mean, his dad was so forced to say, "Leave your mother alone. She has a life." And I was like, "Man, this is what I deal with from morning to night every single day." And in that moment I really felt sane, because him trying to step in, like seeing and acknowledging the fact that, oh my God, I didn't even know that this was how serious it is, that every single minute, imagine me trying to do something, I can't do it because he wants me to carry him. Sometimes it's not even hunger, he just wants his mommy. Simple. And it can be overwhelming for one person. And you know, just that statement alone actually was like, yeah, let your mother have a life, please. And so, like you said, is even the littlest thing. And I hope most partners of women see this, or if it's the man that is the default parent, the partner sees and acknowledge, say thank you from time to time. Say, I see you from time to time. Appreciate them. Like, make them sometimes just take the baby, go for walks. Like, let them have some minute to breathe, because it's a lot to take care of another human being. It's a lot. It takes a toll on your body, your mind, it takes a toll on every single thing. And you sometimes you feel like you are the shadow of yourself. You don't even know who this person is any longer. And yeah, that's a scary place to be honest. It's scary. That's what pushes a lot of women into postnatal depression.
Very much. It may seem like I'm not listening to every part you're saying.
I know.
It's,
I see.
I think you
I
understand
can 1000% understand.
because this boy has released himself from the jail I put him behind me, and now he's free. And him being free means that I have to be like
Yeah,
looking
I,
at
I
everything he's
completely
doing.
understand, because my son is sleeping, so they have the same energy, by the way. So
But I was trying to dissuade him from touching the lights that I'm using. So I was
yeah,
like, giving him the eye, like, no, please don't do that. Okay, so do you feel society, culture, or even faith spaces, do you feel they sometimes add extra expectations on women to be everything for everyone? I feel like sometimes in the church, hardly do you hear this kind of things like being discussed. It's more like you're the woman, you're the backbone of the house, you're
a
the
wise woman builds her home, provides
yeah, you're the
everything
one
for
who
the
holds the
woman.
house together, and I feel like the society also gives this unrealistic expectation,
Yeah,
almost like a woman is a robot and she doesn't have emotions, she doesn't have periods, she could just sign out, mentally and emotionally. And it's almost like you need to do it. You don't have a period that you can be tired and you're tired of the house chores, you're tired of, and who says it's only the woman that can do that can do the house chores? Like if a
yeah,
man is not married, he's going to cook, he's going to wash plates. And sorry, I'm feminist, but
yeah,
I'm not even bringing any feministic talk
yeah,
here.
yeah,
I'm just saying this is common sense. If
yeah,
he's alone, he's going to do all those things. He's not going to live in a dungeon filled with dirty things. So why is it that we feel like a woman should carry this, should do this, should do that, should do that, and you
yeah,
know, keep giving, and it's almost
yeah,
like the woman shouldn't even receive, sorry to say it that way, like
yeah,
receive help, receive support, or a woman asking to receive support means that she's weak. I've
yeah,
seen those kind of expectation also from the society where it seems like if you're saying I'm tired, it's because
Mm.
of you're not capable.
Mm.
Say you need help with your child, it's because of you're not a good mother. If you say you need time out, for example, to or you need help, for example, with the house chores, it means that you're not neat, you're not, you know, you're not a Proverbs 31 woman or something like that. And I love the fact that you even brought the fact that that woman actually had mates. She had people that were doing different
Yeah.
things for her. And she chose to burn the candle night. Doesn't mean because of she was staying awake because of lots of work. It's because of she wants to. Do you understand?
Personal
So
development, basically.
yeah,
That's what
personal
marriage
development.
is.
Thank you. And
That's
I
what
really
marriage
love
is.
that woman. She was really a if she's the definition of a feminist, sorry. Because she would travel all the way to get her spices,
Yeah.
You had her money. She could say, "Oh, tomorrow I'm going to go, honey, I'm traveling to Dubai for some perfumes." Okay, anyways.
That's the lie.
That's
Yeah.
the billionaire woman, like, oh, that one
Yeah.
I'm reaching to, a man. Okay,
Yeah.
don't mind
So
me.
yeah,
So
I sincerely do agree that society has this definition, and a lot of women have been trained, but not a lot of men have been trained.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let me take it in. I'm going to repeat it. A lot of women have been trained, but not a lot of men have been trained.
Yeah. That's the truth. Like,
Especially the background that we come from, the
yeah.
African or let's say ethnical background that we come from, where women or girls are trained from when they are 2 years old to bend to sweep well so that they will be loved in their
I
husband's
mean, you
house.
start hearing statements
Everything is
like,
attached to your husband from even
yeah,
when you're so
your
young.
husband. Yeah. Yeah, that's just the truth. Like, you receive seminars for women who how to build home and like that. And a lot of men, you at least see stuff like that. But thankfully, to bring the balance, a lot of I'm grateful that there are more awareness now about, oh, a man, like, I'm seeing content about how to support your wife through postpartum. Men don't even understand what postpartum means. A lot of men, like, we are grateful for the few that do understand, but not a lot of men do understand what postpartum means or what you're going through. They feel like, Shebi, you are supposed to carry pregnancy. Why are you now overdoing it? What do you mean by
Are you the
postpartum
first person
depression?
to be
Are you the
pregnant?
first person to give birth?
Give
Our
birth.
mothers did it now. You start hearing
And
statement like that.
and they did this and did that. Why they did it?
Exactly. So, and I'm grateful for, also, I'm thankful for, I mean, partners that are beginning to step up, that are breaking the barriers. I'm grateful for millennial men. Like, a lot of millennial men are now coming into that mind space of, oh, I'm supposed to help my wife. This is us. It's not because I married her, she does everything. No, she must do everything. I mean, for me, our household is very wonderful like that. I mean, since I got pregnant, I've not made breakfast for my husband to go to work. Thankfully, he steps in and help out with that. I'm grateful for it. So I mean, it's a lot of men also need to start coming into that space that it is us. It's not a thing of, like you said, if you were living alone, are you not going to take care of yourself? So what changes? And now there's now an extra load. How can you help? Why are you not thinking about things in advance and seeing how you can lighten the load? Because trust me, women have mental load that are piling on every single day. Because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not heavy. It's really heavy. It's crazy. Some of us don't even sleep well. We are sleeping, but we are awake.
Wait, yeah,
Yeah. So these
tomorrow you're thinking about
things,
what you need to do.
and as for the society, this is me. I mean, I started learning to be a bit defiant with societal norms, quote and unquote, of, oh, you say is a woman that must whatever, whatever. I don't know. I mean, when I don't agree with something, I don't agree with it. Like, it's what works for me and my family. You get redefining what works for me and my family. And this conversation of, oh, a woman must, a woman must. It's whatever I can do, I do. I told my husband before we married, I don't like cooking. So he already knows. Not that I don't cook, but I don't like cooking. Do I enjoy it once in a while? Yes. I mean, whatever works for everybody. Like, it shouldn't be, we mustn't follow the societal norms. Like, it's not everything that will work for you. It's not everything. Just like now that we are seeing a lot of parenting content and all of that, you take the one that works for you and the one that doesn't. If not, you will just be you have a mental crash and be like. So that's the same way I deal with societal norms, and it's really sad that 2025 we are still here, but we thank God for the little progress that is being made. And I'm so grateful that a lot of male conversations are now going around this postpartum, taking care of your wife, it's both of you, blah, 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 and like that. Unlike us that we've been told since 19 Gbogboro and everybody is still loading it and saying, if you see me and you say I'm lazy, I agree. I always agree. Like, when when anybody says, you are lazy, I agree. I'll be like, yes, I am. Thank you very much. I'm one of the laziest people you ever meet. Trust me, because I can't keep myself. I will do what I can and leave the rest. Yeah, so I 100% agree with that. And I hope that this conversation also go into the churches, the faith-based spaces, and more men are encouraged to step up, to be honest. Yeah.
Thank you so very much for actually breaking that down. Really, I followed every of the discussion that you said there, and I love the fact that you talked about how you gave there's that communication that you have within your home, and you also mentioned about what works for Mr. A may not
Yeah.
work for Mr. B,
Yeah.
what works for Mr. C may not work for Mr. D, and I think it's good when we pick what we can learn and drop what we know cannot work.
Yeah.
It's not good to say, well, what is for the goose must be for the gander. It doesn't make
Exactly.
sense. Like trying to force things into families, and I think there's also that part where in families they need to stop this, and this is what used to happen in our family. This is what we do in our family. Like when you leave your family, you've left your
Yeah.
family, and you're
Yeah.
building a new family.
Exactly.
Be it you're a woman or a man, like this is your own home. You both need to decide what works for the both of you. So I has the pressure to hold it together. This boy is taking the lights from me. I'm really trying my best to hold everything together, yeah.
Is it not crazy that two moms decide to shoot a podcast?
As in, I'm very sure we're the most enthusiastic people ever. Like we're daring. How has the pressure to hold it all together affected you personally, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually? Like you've talked about how it has affected you mentally, emotionally. You've also talked about it has affected you personally a bit, no personal time, and but how has it affected you spiritually? Do you want to share about that?
Yeah. I mean, after I gave birth to my son, I had no devotion life. I could not.
Now I get it why they say serve the Lord while you're single.
Really, I agree 1000%. I had no devotion life. I couldn't pray. I was too tired to pray. I didn't have anything like that. I was too tired to read my Bible. But one thing that I saw a long time ago that actually helped me was our lives are in seasons, and when you become a mom, being a mom is also worship to God. And because of that statement, it was so liberating. I didn't feel guilt in those seasons of not being able to.
You're literally raising a human being, so it's like it's a mission.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual work actually.
Yeah. So that actually was very liberating for me. So I just surrounded myself with worship in that season. Now that my son is growing and is older and is more getting more and more independent, I had to restructure my spiritual life that I wake up by 4 a.m. It's not easy. There are days that I sleep off. I'm still tired, but yeah, that 1 hour space as is what has worked for me. It's not the easiest, to be honest. It's not, I mean, if he wakes up during that period, then that's the end. That's the end of the prayer or study or whatever it is I'm doing. Yeah, basically, I'm in a different season, and I'm acknowledging the fact that I'm in a different season. There was a season where I pray for longer hours, spend time, study. Like, there was a season in my life where I will compare scriptures with scriptures, right?
You go and check the Greek word, Latin word, deep study.
Do deep study, but I can't remember the last time I did anything like deep study. Like, there was a time too in my life that I will write letters to God, like journal and write all of those things and say, God, how are you? Hope you are fine. Hope you are not too tired taking care of all we your children. I can't remember the last time I did that, but yeah, just like with every other thing, I just try to be consistent. And consistency, I think people are so hard on consistency. Consistency does not mean that you don't drop off. Consistency means that you keep coming back. That's consistency. That's my definition of consistency. So on the days when I'm not able to do it, maybe for one day, I don't feel bad. Because tomorrow I go back again. Yeah, but that's the way things are different now. And I'm acknowledging that this is the new journey. This is the new work for me, and taking it a day at a time.
Yeah, I love the fact that you said taking it a day at a time because I think sometimes it's the self guilt that actually kills us even more than blaming ourselves. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. I think there was a point I thought of it like, man, when last did you actually read your Bible? And I felt bad about it. Then I was praying and all that, and I just realized like my boy is reading me. I'm like his Bible, his living
Yeah,
Bible that he's
yeah,
actually looking at and
yeah,
learning from. So that actually changed many things. And what I just ensured that I was going to do was to incorporate, for example, prayer into my life, ensure that we start the morning together with prayer and we end the evening together with prayer. So that has actually helped a lot. And
yeah,
from time to time when I remember, because apart from the fact of the ADHD and all that, when I remember to, put to do the devotional, to do
yeah,
that. I soak myself in when I
yeah,
have the time. And
yeah.
when I don't have the time, I go to the Bible app, check the verse of the day, receive the word, pray, and thank the Lord.
My sister. Thank God for Bible app, because
Oh,
that's what
thank
I've
God.
been. I mean, I can't even read my hard copy Bible. I can't remember the last time I opened my hard copy Bible. But you see, the Bible app, I just read. Aside reading the word for the day, I mean, I do Bible in 1 year. So as much as I can, like the what the chapter I'm reading,
Uh-huh.
whichever chapter it is, I just read it and move on and
Yeah.
continue my life. The days I'm able to meditate before my son wakes up, I do it. The days I'm not, I move on.
I see your son has woken up already.
Yes, yes, yes.
How do you create space for yourself in the middle of chaos as a mother, professional, and how do you juggle it? And woman of faith, how do you carry all that and create a space for yourself? Like
Hmm.
creating a
Right.
space, what I mean by creating a space is like where you're still focused on yourself. Because
Mhm.
I think there's a part where we may forget who we are, our
Yeah,
identity.
yeah,
So where you're still focused on developing your personal self, professionally, personally, just like how you create space for yourself for the exercise. Yeah. So how do you do that in the middle of chaos?
Hmm. I do. To be honest, just with every other thing, I take in as much as I can, and thankfully, not probably physical community that I can go to a neighbor and dump pencil, but having other moms, hearing other moms, having conversation. Like, I remember the first episode that you posted of the mom podcast, and you said that mom spa podcast, mama spa podcast, and he said that you read, and I was like, ah, Paula reads. Okay, if she reads, that means I can, because I've been putting away a particular book
Mm,
for this forever, and
mm.
so whenever my son sleeps, I maximize the time. I maximize it. Yeah. every time he's asleep, I maximize it. Like I've been able to do certain things. And this time that he was sleeping, use it to shoot this podcast, do some things that I want to do, read up on things that I want to read up on, whether online or physical book, because I like hard copy books so much.
Me
But
too.
like we were saying, it's the season. This is the season now, yeah. We need to make adjustments. So the reason I've not really even been taking a pause on my exercise is because I feel like this is my time. This is my me time. It's not as simple. It's not as much as I would love it, but still, I take what I can get. And yeah, just maximizing when the guy is asleep and just do stuff for me.
Oh, I
And
love that.
that's,
I'm going to write it out. Maximizing little moments.
yeah,
Maximizing little moments. Because, for example, though I read, I wish I could read more. Oh, dear Lord. Before I got pregnant, I was just kind of, I love reading. I really love reading. Books are my thing.
yeah.
And just to, for me to slow down and not read at all, it's like you're taking me into a jail of, I don't know, of loneliness.
I completely understand because before my son came, I was a high functioning individual. So after work, I log into the platform where I mentor. So like I do that. Now that I'm not mentoring, I feel like something has been taken away from me. I'm not impacting. I feel sometimes I start to feel like so I can relate. Yeah, I read books too, but I mean, my life has been busy for the past few years now that because after work I'm mentoring and like that. That's how my routine has been for the longest of time. So, uh, yeah, it always feels like something is taken away or something is gone.
Yeah, like something is missing. And it's really lovely how you said maximizing each time. There's something I saw. I may not be able to say the equation, but it was like a mathematical equation where it says
Yeah,
it was just trying to explain like you doing one thing, just even if it's 0.01
yeah,
every day, it's
yeah,
going to add up to
yeah,
something. But you
yeah,
doing 0.00, meaning
yeah.
doing nothing,
Nothing.
still going
Uh-huh.
to be zero. But that is 0.01, even as little as it may be,
Mm-hmm.
although you think it's nothing compared to the everything that you used to do before or
Yeah,
how
yeah,
functional you were, that
yeah,
0.01 ends up becoming 33 point something. And for
yeah,
me, that actually made so much sense. Like
yeah.
there are times also with my ADHD where I find some things boring that I need to do. And because of that, I wouldn't do it at that period. And I think for me, I've been learning like, even if it's something little, even if it's a day, even if it's 10 minutes, every day, it's still something. Like maybe I would have been the type that would have read and done different courses and finished it. But looking back, I was even looking recently, I was like, how did I, sorry, how did I do
Yes.
this
How
course?
did
How did I
you
do this
do?
exam? Like, how did I? So it makes sense actually that although it seems like I'm doing nothing, I'm still doing something.
Oh, you are doing a lot. Trust me. Oh my God. Because I don't know how you manage to actually read for your exams and do the exams and take courses. And I mean, every time I have conversation with you, you are like, "Oh, I'm taking this course. I'm doing this course." I'm like, "How is she doing?"
Let me tell you, it may seem like I'm mad, but there are days I take him on a walk and I carry my book. There's a journal where I jot down those lectures from the courses I'm doing. And I'm strolling, pushing the trolley, and then I'm still reading. And sometimes I think, how do people look at this woman? I hope they're not thinking I'm mad. Imagine you opening your book and you're reading, and yet maybe some people pass by and they're inquisitive and they look into my journal, like, what is
Yeah.
she reading? And they will see some charts, some drawings. And I'm very sure they're like, who sent like that's an African way of like, saying like, why are you doing all of that? Like, why are you a mom and you're still, but it is what it is, and we cannot change that fact.
Exactly. Because we have the thing is
Team him
we,
out.
we have a goal in mind. So at the end of the day, we are the ones that know where we are going. And it's not like I said in the beginning, life doesn't pause. Life doesn't take a pause because you became a mom. Nobody is
I
going to
wish it
that
doesn't suddenly freeze
yeah,
and
that's the
then
thing.
you get that part, then it unfreezes, like you
Yeah.
just keeps moving, like continues. It's my son. It's my son. How do you do? How do you do guilt? Have you ever felt guilty for resting or choosing yourself? How do you deal with that guilt?
Yeah.
The question is for you, but let me just chip, chip that in.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always feel guilty for resting. Like there are times I just feel like I'm in the shower. The one that happened last was I dropped this baby, my dear baby, with his dad and his uncle, like my husband's brother. And then I went to the shower, washed my hair, showered, and then I was doing face care. And at that period, don't worry, at that period, I was feeling guilty, like, but like you've been in this shower for like almost 1 hour
Mm.
and your baby's just there. I could hear some cries, but I'm like, there are two human beings downstairs. I don't care if they don't sort it out. They need to sort it out. I'm not leaving this bedroom until I'm done with my self care. It may sound like, you know, at that period I felt like maybe I'm being selfish, but I'm like, this is the only period actually I've stood in the shower for like for like 1 hour. Do you
You are
understand?
not being selfish. You are not being selfish.
Yeah, I know I'm not being
Oh
selfish, but
my God.
how do we? Have you ever felt guilty for resting and choose? How do you deal with it? Like.
Okay. Yes. Definitely. Mom guilt is something that whether you like it or not, it just happens. Like it comes to mind. So I remember that I had a date with another mom. That was 2 weeks ago. And, because I was just thinking, I was so close to canceling because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lead my son. Oh, will he eat? Will he sleep? Will he follow the routine? Will everything and blah, blah, blah. And then I told myself, Bolu, if you don't go for this date, you will not go again ever. So take this chance and go have time for you. And I'm so grateful that I went because my cup was so full. And I'm like, he's going to be with his father. He's going to be with his dad. His dad will take care of him. His dad cannot kill him. So that time, I just have conversations with myself because that's the only way, right?
Sorry, I'm going to put that in a clip. Like, is that cannot kill him?
Cannot kill him. It's true.
I don't know why we women we feel like sometimes when we leave the child with the dad, like the child will go.
Cannot kill him. So his dad will take care of him. He will be fine. So what I did was I just wrote out his routine and said, did they follow it? I didn't call once. That's how I knew that was good. Like throughout my date, I didn't call once to check up on them to say, oh, how are you guys doing? Because I was so I was so determined. No, no worries. I was so determined to have that time for me. Constant conversation with myself to really check what is the what is the reality vis-a-vis my feelings. Because wait, Jedediah. So you know that our feelings, yeah, they are valid, but they are not always true. Our feelings are valid, but they are not always true. So that's the way I deal with mom guilt. So when it comes, I have the conversation with myself. I'm putting it vis-a-vis the reality. What's the reality versus what's the feeling? So this is a feeling. It will go away. It's fickle. It will fade. Am I a bad mom? No. So sometimes I actually tell myself, Bolu, you are not a bad mom. Bolu, you are not a bad mom. You are a really good mom that maybe a mistake happened, they fell down or something. You are a really good mom that made a mistake. You are not a bad mom. Because he fell down now doesn't mean you are wicked or you are not paying attention. You are a good mom. That's the way I actually deal, like real life conversations with myself every single time. And whenever the feelings comes up. And I don't feel guilty for taking me time. Sorry. No. I don't feel guilty. Like yeah, it does happen. It does come to mind. I'm not even going to lie that when I'm trying to take a time for myself, which I don't even get so much of. So the small time that I'm taking for myself, yeah, when mom guilt, I use conversation to shut it down and tell myself that, okay, this is for me and I need it. Yeah, that's how I do.
Yeah, soliloquizing. Is that
Yeah, yeah.
see?
So the quiet, yes. Yeah, you're right.
I can revalidate your emotions also
Yes.
and, put them in the right place.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for actually taking us through that. My son was giving me lots of, but it's at the point I saw you
It
laughing at me.
seems awake, so I feel you. I understand. I mean, I can't even say I can't relate. I can 1000% relate. I have an energetic son as well, so he's
Hey,
doing the most here. I'm just trying to manage him. It's a
thank you.
good thing. It's a good thing. At least we have active babies.
Yes, sir.
Thank God. I'm grateful.
So, what has helped you most in lightening the weight you carry, whether it's community, setting boundaries, especially the fact of setting boundaries, or leaning into your fit or therapy? What has helped you most? For example,
Yeah, man, that setting boundaries is very, very important because a lot of people, like for me, I'm grateful that I and my husband, before we had a baby, had a plan. Will all the plans work out? Maybe not, but we had a plan on how we want to raise this baby, and that has actually helped put things in check. So I remember the day I decided to go out, we had visitors over, and because we've not introduced ourselves to screen, right? And they didn't know. They did not know. So innocently, they gave him cocoa melon while my husband went upstairs. And then my husband came down and he was like, oh no, he doesn't. Because my son was just looking at it now. What's going on here? And my husband was able to say, oh no, and that's because we had a conversation way before this baby came. And, so having that, because men are very wonderful human beings. I love men. They are very wonderful human beings like that. So like, but they don't read minds. It's important for us to have that conversation. Sometimes we are more enlightened, and some other times they are more enlightened about topics, and that has helped us set boundaries, certain boundaries. Of even when my parents were around, or when my mom was around, and my mom wants to do certain things, and we were able to, it was easier to say no because we knew what we wanted. I mean, I'm not afraid since I gave birth. I'm not afraid to tell someone no. I'm not afraid. I'm not I'm not scared to say no, we don't do that. I don't really care how you see it. I will not be rude to you, but I will tell you no. Like, I will stand on my ground and say, no, we don't do that. So it's important. And I saw a post that also kind of helped reaffirm that we are the protector of our children. We are the ones to keep them safe. And imagine what you are now afraid because you don't want to offend someone. You are not able to now say no. What are you doing to your child at the end of the day? So definitely having that plan actually helped because when you give birth, it's really foggy. Everybody comes at you with different advice. Everybody comes at you with different things, and then it sounds right, but not everything is right for you and your baby and your family.
yeah, sifting through the noise really matters,
Yeah,
especially at that period when you have a
yeah,
new baby
yeah,
and setting that
yeah,
boundary, saying
yeah,
no. It can be triggering for some people,
yeah,
especially when they hear no.
yeah.
What do you mean no? This is how we've been doing it.
This is how
We've
we've
been
been
doing
doing.
it. They've been doing it like this from ages past, and
This
children
is
did not
how we've
die.
been
You
doing
did
it.
not die. They're like, you did not die. So what are you saying? Hello, Bele or new mother. Sorry, new mother. Like
I mean, my mom had to nickname me AI mother, and I took that with my future. I said, "Yes, mommy. Yes, I am. Yes,
me, I
I
was
am
scared.
AI mother.
I was
My sister, whatever. As long as I'm protecting the interest of this child, because at the end of the day, I'm going to answer to God, not to you, not to any other person. I'm going to answer to God. So I
some
need
boundaries may not make sense to the other person. It doesn't
exactly.
have to make sense
It
to you.
doesn't. It
It makes
doesn't.
sense to me and my husband. And even if
Yeah,
my husband is just saying yes and it
yeah,
has not made sense to him, don't
yeah,
worry, soon he will understand. But it
yeah,
makes sense at that period
yeah,
to the both of us.
yeah.
So it we don't have to explain ourselves to you. Like
Exactly. And I think that this is where society also needs to start respecting other people's boundaries.
especially that part.
You don't understand it, it's okay. You don't really need to understand every single thing a parent decides to do with their child. By the way,
Just
I'm going
support is just what is needed.
Exactly. I'm grateful for the people that ask the can I question, like when they are with your child and they say, can I, instead of just deciding to go
Assuming that
ahead and assume. And it's not fair to do that to any, because you don't know how they are raising the children. Like imagine I've never given my son candy or lollipop or anything, and then he goes out and you are offering him and I say no, and
scream.
then you get angry. Koye me, I don't understand.
Is he your child?
I say so. You say why? What do you mean why?
No, especially that part of why. I'm like, Zed, there was somebody I gave that look like I, wa- I'm this kind of person that I may come out across as rebellious, but I feel like I'm an adult, number one, and I'm not a child, meaning that I'm not 17.
Yeah.
So I think I am accountable to the actions of things I do, and I can choose to do some things. Like I don't have to wait for permission
Mm-hmm.
from people to
Yeah.
do things. Yeah, like hey, he was working a bit now. You're
Wow.
working, yeah. So he's dancing. So I don't have to wait for permission. Please do not shake our table. Thank you very much. So I don't have to wait for permission from people. For example, I'll give an example of plating hair for my son. And a friend wrote me and it was like, why are you plating hair for your son? It's a boy, not a girl. And at that period, I wanted to say something out of
First
proportion,
of
but
all, are you my
I just, this kind of, I put my hand in my mouth because I'm this kind of person. No matter how, I'm trying my best not to be rude, but also I'm trying my best not to, kind of like bond relationships, especially when I know that person is actually
Yeah.
good. It's just the
Yeah.
person doesn't know boundaries.
Yeah.
There's some people who are good people, but they don't just know boundaries. They don't just know LD boundaries. So at that period, I thought, okay, how best do I reply? I didn't reply. And I think she understood that what she said was wrong.
Yeah.
And, she doubled up by trying to be nice. But I didn't
Mm.
just reply her. I just
Mm.
left her with that red, conversation. And that was it. So at that period, I wanted to ask her, like, so if a lady's on low cuts, is she a boy? That kind of, because there are lots of ladies on low cuts. We don't go and call them boys just because of they're on low cut. So why you my son is agreeing to what I'm saying. So it's like, I'm like, why are you now calling a boy that I plated is a girl because of I plated is a like we're in 2025 now. We're not in 1995. Hello, like, do you get?
I
And it
mean,
doesn't even concern you. Do you understand?
yeah.
And this is an example of how people do not even keep boundaries. And this is not even family within family or let's say external families.
You don't
This
even
is a
necessarily have
friend.
yeah, you don't necessarily have to understand it like we said earlier. You
Mhm.
don't necessarily have to understand why people do certain things, especially when it is their child. So people need to learn to respect whatever. You might not understand it, you might not get it, and that's okay. Child,
It's their child.
the child.
Anyways, I really love that part where you explained it very much because for me, I feel like it's really needed to, especially that boundaries because you've talked about leaning into faith community. Yay! I love the community that I have of women right now.
Yeah,
The New Roots Strong Wings community. It's really one of the most helpful gifts for me. Although we've not gotten to that stage where
yeah.
I can just go and drop my baby with somebody. I really hope we get to that stage. Don't mind me.
Winning.
But at least I love the fact that yeah, my son also went to a corner that I'm really praying that he doesn't do anything to. I've been looking at him like he knows he's not allowed to go. You know what he did? He was halfway. He turned. He smiled at me like, "I know you're busy. You
Do
can't
they
come."
always smile mischievously?
That was the mischievous smile. So now he's all around there now, going to the places I'm meant to go. So, like I was saying about the fact that, what was I saying now?
We're talking about new root strong wing.
Yeah, new roots, strong
Dropping your
wings.
baby.
Yeah, yeah. Although we've not gotten to that stage, but I love the fact that we can dial in
Yeah.
to each other and we could speak with each other, we could pray for one another.
Yeah.
I love that fact. Like my neighbor and I, we pray for one another, we check in on each other. I can go and I can go and disturb her with my meals. Like I cook for her and I enjoy cooking for her. And I know she will not turn me down. You know, there's some period that you don't want to be over with your
Yeah.
kindness. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
be too overstepping. But
Yeah.
for her,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm overstepping. Do
Yeah.
you understand? Because if I
Yeah.
know that we have that sisterhood.
Yeah.
And for example, she can ask me for something and not feel like she's overstepping.
Yeah.
And I love that actually. When you have that little help from somebody around you, it may not be, it may seem little, but it's not, it's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Even having conversations, like a
Yeah,
place where you can
conversations.
dump, like where you can just dump thoughts and all the numerous things going on in your head is beautiful. It's a blessing.
So, um, is there any advice that you have for any overwhelmed woman? If you're listening, like if, if that person is listening right now, a woman who feels overwhelmed, like she's drowning in the weight of everything, childcare, career, personal development, professional wise, like what would you say to her?
What I would say is you find your rhythm. First thing, you will find your rhythm. Don't listen to
Let
like
me grab my son.
no worries.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
The whole of that place. You used the good opportunity that you had. Drink water,
Yeah.
Dad.
So the first thing is I would say like because especially for a new mom when everything comes and like everybody's falling advice at you, don't worry, you find your reading. Breathe through all of the advice. Filter, take the one that is yours and leave the rest and find you will definitely find your reading. The second thing I would say is trust God because man can't do this journey without the Holy Ghost. We can't do it without the Holy Spirit helping us on this journey. Another thing I would say, because I'm not one to really advise. I'm not one to really advise other. I hate this calling advice of people and saying yeah, yeah, because there's so much voices and everybody is just overwhelmed. And take it day as it comes because this is a season in your life. You're not going to be in this season forever. Just take each day as it comes. Take one step at a time. Cry as much as you want. Please cry. Don't hold it in. Cry if you need to cry. Cry as much as you want. And you wipe your face and but that moment of crying alone, it helps release emotion and if you can find your people like your people that you trust, people that you can talk to and you guys can have conversations or rant about motherhood and say, oh, my son did this to me today. I mean, those little rants is very helpful. And then you begin to feel like you're not alone because nobody ever wants to feel like they are alone when they are going through stuff. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to say to any woman out there going through all of this that we are going through. It's a beautiful wonder. And I mean, God has entrusted us with these little human beings. And definitely, at the end of the day, we're going to reap the reward of our bountiful labor in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. That um I want to talk about something that you didn't talk about. You do mummies in tech, and I'm wondering why didn't you mention it? Like it's a very important fact. So how do we stay connected? How can our listeners connect with you or learn from you on your own platform?
Okay. Yeah. I'm on Instagram. Tife_Odus.
Uh-huh.
That's my handle on Instagram. Yeah, I shoot videos about mom in tech and try to help people that are coming into tech transition and just encourage people that want to transition and are afraid. That's basically the kind of content that I shoot. I'm just being lazy these days, but God is helping me. I'm back. I'm back. I'm God's back.
You're not lazy. Don't even say you're lazy. You're doing a
I'm not
lot.
lazy. I'm not lazy. Thank
No,
you.
so you're not lazy. You have just been taking your time one day at a time. So you're back. Good.
Yeah. Thank you for
So
the
it's
reminder. You see, it's so beautiful that we chunk out so much word that we don't even take it. Like we don't take our
not
own.
that you don't take it. It's just that sometimes we sleep and you sleep.
No.
So that's why I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Because me, I cannot exercise 1 hour to save my life. Don't mind me, I'm just joking. But I have to say that you're doing a big deal. You're doing a big deal. You're working remotely, and you're taking care of your child. Like imagine like doing a meeting and your child is doing and doing. She understands. And then you still have the house chores, you're doing a lot. So don't even feel like you're not doing a lot. Like you're doing more than enough. And thank you so very much for joining us. Like I planned for this to be a 20 minutes or 30 minutes thing, but the talk was really lovely.
Yeah.
And it was something that we needed to actually discuss. And I love the fact that it was from someone who understands, who is also in the journey, who
Yeah.
can get it. Like
Yeah.
and I loved how you shared with us. You really dropped lots of wise nuggets. Sincerely, wise nuggets. My son is bringing a sleeper to me for a reason I don't know. But anyways, you really dropped lots of wise nuggets, and I appreciate you for that. So thank
Thank
you so
you.
very much for joining in on our podcast. For our dear listeners, I hope our cocoons from our child or our children doesn't affect the sound. But I'll try my best to edit it to the best of my knowledge. And Riverside is really good, actually. I'm on live for the podcast. So hopefully, if you hear some child crying, this is it. This is what we're talking
Yeah.
about the burden
Please
of
do
motherhood.
forgive us.
If you like, don't forgive us, anyways. But please listen to
Yeah.
it still, because this is how we went through a lot to actually do this podcast planning and planning, trying to make out trying to make our children's time align, trying to make them sleep. And we recording this podcast even despite the fact that they are both awake. So it's a lot. And this is what we're talking about motherhood, where a woman is trying to juggle different things together and still stand as one piece mentally. So it's a lot for any woman to juggle. So I think that's how God wanted us to show this part to you in reality. We're not just saying this thing, this is how it is for us, like 24/7. And, you know, we're still here, we're still doing it. So if you have a mother in your circle, um, appreciate her so much and support any little way you can with good words as much as you can. Yeah, with good words. With it could just be with kindness. Like she just needs to be seen. So really support the women that you have around you that are mothers. And not even mothers, but support the women around you. Take care. Bye. Till the next
Thank you
time.
so
Yeah. Bye. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Please do subscribe to our podcast. And I would really appreciate it if you could share to others. Thank you. And we hope it was a safe space for you and you could, listen and do other things that you wanted to do. We appreciate you listening so far. Do have a lovely, lovely week and see you next week.